An independent in a battleground state is running for Congress. Isabelle Harman is offering an alternative to Democrats and Republicans in Pennsylvania's 10th congressional district. She joins me now. Thank you, Isabel, for being on the program.
Hi, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, you're running as an independent for Congress. What inspired you to run for this seat?
Sure. I have been thinking about running for office for a long time, but our lifestyle as a military family was not. It didn't allow me to do this. So when arrived here in central Pennsylvania, we ended up retiring here. We've been here since 2019. Retired in 2021 and decided to make this our home. I have been watching politics and learning a lot over the years that I've been here and how things function, not just locally, but how the federal government is impacting the lives of the 10th district. And last year's election, I decided it was time to get off the fence and time to put my name in the hat. I've been a lifelong independent. I believe that independents and third party candidates should have easier access to the ballots. In Pennsylvania, there's an initiative to open the primaries. I believe the primaries should be open to all voters, not just those who are registered with a party. So anybody who's unaffiliated should also be able to vote in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's it, pretty much. I'll talk about the priorities that our campaign has that I've been developing since we moved here, based on observations that I've made. What I'm trying to do now is to go around and talk to people in the 10th district to either validate what I think our priorities should be or to change them based upon what the people who actually live here and are experiencing life in the 10th district want me to address. So that's pretty much it. I think it's time for a change. We need to stop messing with people's lives. We need to find structure in our government again, and one that works for the people and not for parties.
Even though Pennsylvania is considered a battleground state, it's still a state that's overwhelmingly represented by Democrats and Republicans in higher office, such as Congress or even statewide races. What are some techniques or tactics that you will try to pursue to persuade people that they should go with an independent like yourself?
So I think the best approach for us has been to just get out and talk to people. The reaction is almost the same across the board. Oh my goodness, you're an independent and you're running in the 10th congressional district. Good luck. Well, this is a matter of changing the way that people think about the representation that they want to have in Congress. And the only way that we can do that is to be open, to have conversations, and most importantly, to listen. And then as we continue developing our campaign and growing, then we start to build our argument, which becomes stronger over time for why it's important to put an independent in Congress. There is, the number of independents statewide and throughout the nation is growing. And people are starting to recognize that the representatives and the senators that we have in Congress, and even in the state legislature, are not truly doing the people's work. They're not listening. They have an agenda that is directed by the parties that they represent. There are other ways of thinking about governing and making life prosperous for our people that we need to understand directly from the constituents. Nobody seems to be doing that. Nobody seems to be coming down to their districts and actually talking to people. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's the best way for us to get our foothold in here and start to change the hearts and minds of people so that they recognize that they are not stuck with only two options. I mean, there are a lot of moving parts that come with that, but they're not stuck with two options. There is at least an independent that can be put on the ballot, and or somebody who represents another party, a minor party, like the Forward Party or the Libertarian Party, the Green Party. It's important for people to understand that there are people out there who are willing to send their message to either the local, the state, or the federal level government, and they are willing to do the work for the people. And I don't know any other way to say it other than it's time for a conversation. And that's the way we have to start breaking down walls.
Thank you for answering that. Let's get into some of your policy proposals, and we're going to start with healthcare. On your campaign website, you mentioned that we have a healthcare system that puts investing in and developing the latest technology before providing fundamental healthcare to our citizens. We need to rethink our priorities. What are you going to do to increase access for healthcare for our citizens?
Okay, so the one thing that we have to keep in mind is technology, advances in technology in healthcare is not a bad thing. The problem is when that is put ahead of just basic healthcare for people. The people I'm speaking with right now are having a hard time either getting an appointment with a doctor, uh, paying for the insurance that we're all talking about now, which is the Affordable Care Act, um, trying to figure out if they're going to be able to pay that premium, and or they go without. So I think the best way for us to move forward when it comes to our healthcare is to really start to have a very robust conversation about what Bernie Sanders has brought to the to all of us, which is a single payer system. It's not socialism. It's another way of making sure that our citizens are taken care of for something that to me is a basic right. You should be able to go to the doctor without being concerned about how you're going to pay your bill. There, like other things, there are a lot of moving parts to this to get us to that point. Another one of those is to help people understand that healthcare is not a socialist proposal. Healthcare is about taking care of you, of your health, of your child's health, of a child who may have a chronic illness, of an adult who may have a chronic illness. These are basic human rights that we need to start talking about and having a robust conversation on this. And one of the best ways for us to be able to support the argument is to hear from the people who are being affected by the way our current healthcare system. It's not simply about technology and advances in technology in healthcare. It's that has put the patient, the customer, if you will, in second place, and the patient should always come first.
How would you address those who are concerned about the fiscal cost associated with a universal healthcare system?
So here's this is this addressing how to pay for universal healthcare system is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that is going to be all of a sudden tomorrow everybody's got to pay into this program. Unlike how the Affordable Care Act was rolled out, and no discussion was made after it became law to fix the system as it currently exists. And now we're at the point where people are wondering if they're going to be able to pay. I'm going to answer your question, I promise. People are wondering if they're going to be able to pay the premiums as they currently stand without the tax incentives to help them pay. So we have to make this a step-by-step process that allows for people to enter a universal health care system um, where they are not seeing premiums that are out of control and unaffordable still. One of the ways that we have to start doing this is we have to start looking at the insurance industry. We have to start asking ourselves, how can we work with the insurance industry to find out the best way to implement something like this, which is where I think the Affordable Care Act was trying to go, but it didn't work that way. So we have to take the time to talk about how it affects people's pocketbooks so that they can stay in the healthcare system, how it affects our industries, our insurance industry, and find where we can come together to make this happen for the citizens of our country and anyone else who is qualified to contribute and participate in our healthcare system. Um, I think it's really important for us to stop uh, creating a narrative that says that this is unaffordable. It's not unaffordable. It's a matter of looking at how we are currently distributing our funds at the federal level, how it's being used, and reconsidering where we are putting our priorities. And healthcare should be a priority. Preventive health should be a priority, not just having a backstop there for people who are ill and hoping that they will be ill so that they have to go to the hospital and have to use their insurance policy.
And if elected, you would have to work with people who do not agree with your views on healthcare, and they may want limited government intervention as possible in the area of healthcare. How would you work with those members of Congress who disagree with you on this issue?
There's no other way to do this but to have a conversation. There's no other way to do this but to look at our current situation, our how things are currently being administered, and then to find a way forward. Uh, there are always going to be people there who you simply cannot agree with. It's just you're never going to find a path you can cross so that you can do something that's good for our citizens. So this is so fundamental. It's about having conversations. And when you have the conversations, it's about also having the courage to talk about these conversations publicly, not to make everything behind closed doors.
So, in terms of these healthcare debates, you would ensure that the public would have full access to those debates because you mentioned the point about talking behind closed doors. Sometimes that happens in important legislation where lawmakers will be off camera, off the C-SPAN cameras, and they'll be hashing out details. You want everything to be fully transparent.
I'm not sure that I agree with full transparency, and I think if and you can go back and look at the recording, I think I said not everything should be behind closed doors. I'm not sure that full transparency is absolutely necessary because you do have to have conversations that you may not want to have public. But when you're going to stand up for the people and you're going to stand up for what you believe in, you have to be willing to get in front of a camera and talk about the conversations without um, without pointing fingers. You have to be willing to talk about the conversations in a way that shows that you're actually getting to a point where you have some points of agreement that you can continue to work towards instead of having conversations behind closed doors and then either not talking to the public at all or coming before the public and saying, oh, well, yeah, well, when we're not on camera, we're talking about this. I just don't get it. Just tell the people what you're doing. That's all we want to know. We want to know that what you are discussing, you don't have to give us every single detail, but what you're discussing, we want to know it's there to benefit us and the way forward. What progress are you making? And it really is that simple.
Let's turn now to your education plan. You say that on the campaign website, we need to stand with our public schools because the educators and administrators are the backbone of our economy. Why do you want to, what ways are you going to make improvements in the public education system with your policies?
Okay, so education is one of our priorities. So let me clarify one thing. So policy development is ongoing because we are so far out, um, not well, relatively speaking. We're far enough out where we have the luxury as a campaign to continue to develop our policies, and I don't think it's a good idea for me at this point in the campaign to come forth and say this is the policy that we're going to put forth because we are still talking to the people in the 10th district. Now, let me tell you about education. I am not an advocate of school vouchers. I am an advocate of looking at the distribution of funds to our school districts and to ensuring that the funds are distributed equally, equitably, if you will, so that schools are not falling behind. Our teachers are not finding themselves pulling money out of their pockets to be able to pay for the supplies they need in their classroom, and our parents are not being asked to bring in additional supplies for the school year to help augment what's happening in the classroom. Many teachers out there are not being paid well enough. We need to make sure that their teacher salaries are increased so that their profession is revered. Much like our first responders, we need to pay our teachers the salary that they deserve. They have the responsibility that we have tasked them to do, and we are asking them to do on a daily basis to help our children develop intellectually. That, aside from the responsibility of a parent, the teacher that takes that on and takes it seriously and wants to be able to bring creativity, bring options for reading, bring science projects, culture into the classroom, they need to be fully supported and they need to be given the salary that is commensurate with the value we put on their profession.
Are you in conversations currently with public school teachers about their career, about how their jobs are and what can be done to improve their situation?
So we are starting with we have an advisor who is a retired educator who is doing research for us. And her name is Dr. Howard, and we are very grateful to have her. Another team member of ours is also an educator. She has worked in the classroom and currently is working with students in after-school programs with nonprofits. I have spoken with some teachers, not in depth. It's on our radar, not to dismiss the question that you're asking me. I want you to tell you we have this plan. It's on our radar to be in contact with teachers directly. It's just a matter of being able to coordinate the meetings. This is not an excuse. This is absolutely one of our priorities and one of the meetings that we want to make sure we have on our schedule. We are planning to try to get together with a local leader in our district who's in education to discuss with him the findings that we have and the research that we're doing, and to find out to validate our research, or for him to give us questions about what we're thinking, and then to help us to develop from there. So this is definitely part of what we're planning to do.
And how about students and their academic experience? How would you factor the opinions of students into policy formulation?
Okay, let me start at the college level. We are currently trying to partner with a young with they're called the Young Forwardists with the Forward Party. And we're hoping to bring their perspective into all policy areas for us to develop. And that includes education. Most of the ones who we will be interacting with right now are in college. So that will be a good starting point for us to hear what their needs are, and what their concerns are, and what their solutions are in higher education. Some of them will not be very far removed from high school, so they'll be able to give us that perspective as well. From there, we're hoping to be able to, obviously with parent permission, is maybe to have a conversation with children in middle and high school. Don't know if that will happen. I would love to get their perspective, but we don't want to give the impression that we're trying to exploit anyone. We want to make sure that we're having conversations that are fully engaging and fully supported by parents if we're meeting with younger students.
Before we get to your final thoughts, we're going to discuss agriculture and your plan. You say this on your campaign website. We want farmers out of debt. How will you make that happen?
I I get that question a lot. How will you make that happen? How will you do this? And the thing is that I don't have all the answers. I'm seeking the answers from the people who are experts, the people who do this work. So again, it comes down to talking to the people where they are and finding out exactly what their needs are. This week, I'll be going to the Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Farm Bureau's 75th annual meeting in Hershey. And I plan on taking a lot of notes and having a lot of conversations, and then continuing the conversation after after Tuesday with as many people as possible. I know in our description for education, it says that our teachers are the backbone of our society, and I would have to say, I would say even more so, our farmers are the backbone. If we don't have farmers, we don't eat, and that's big and small farming. That's not just the farmers who are providing soybeans and corn to the world market. It's the local farmers who have sustainable farming, sustainable farms that are part of the local markets, farmers markets. The other thing I want to mention as far as agriculture goes, and this is probably going to change on the website, it's not just about farmers, it's also about our rural communities. It's important for us to have conversations with not only the residents of our rural communities, but the leadership, the elected leadership of those rural communities. Some of them need, they don't necessarily need my direct help, but they need somebody to sit down and have a conversation with them to hear what they're working on, how they see themselves moving forward, and then letting me know this is what we need. And then I can take that to Congress and help to push things in a direction that helps our farmers and rural communities grow and thrive, and not feel like they're constantly turning their wheels. This is in all communities. I want to make sure I say that, but they're constantly turning their wheels and getting stuck or not moving forward. well, getting stuck would be not moving forward, but just feeling stuck and not knowing what to do. I don't think that that's how we should be treating the leadership and the residents of our rural and of our rural communities and our farmers.
Before we get to your final thoughts, and we close out every single interview with the candidate sharing anything that they want to say, how would you address potential labor shortages within the agriculture sector?
You know, you know, I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna pause on that on answering that because there are I have a comment about it, but I'm not prepared to discuss it. I um I don't want to bring up some hot button issues today. I think that labor shortages in our farming industries it is again multifaceted um, approaches to labor, addressing the shortage, and how to um, how to get people interested in uh, in supporting what the needs are for our agriculture community. You know, I have to say, I think one of I think I think there are many ways that we can support our farmers, our agricultural community, and one of those is to make sure that, um, as I said on the website, we help them help those who need it get out of debt, get them off that revolving wheel of um, debt and subsidies. There's no reason why our farmers can't be thriving and making money off of their land. So we have to start addressing those kind of issues. If we did that, then that could have an effect of, you know, our of the generations to come. Which there are some who want to continue in farming, but there are some who don't want to continue in farming, and it's because they don't see that it's a viable option for the future. So there are many approaches that we can take to address the labor shortage in farming. Um, and I think that they're unfolding each point is probably best left for another podcast to talk specifically about that.
No problem. This will be your chance to say anything you want to say. Some candidates will share their campaign website, some will say anything that they want to address from the previous topics. Anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, Cameron, thank you for this opportunity to be on your podcast. I appreciate it. If you have any questions for me, you see how to spell my name at the bottom of the screen, Isabelle Harman. Our website is isabelleharman2026.com. Please go there, read through the website, and if you have any questions, you can contact me. There's a the contact information is on the website as well. We would appreciate your time. If you find that you would like to volunteer for our organization, that would be fantastic. We can always use your help. I am here for the people. I am not here for myself. I know a lot of people say that, but truly, this has always been who I am. I want to go to Congress to do your work, to help your lives become easier, to help you thrive, to help your communities grow, to have all the opportunities that we are due. We are due as citizens of this country. If I am not the right person for you, I encourage you to research the candidates who will be on the ballot in the fall and find the right person who you feel will best represent your needs, your wants, your desires, and bring your solutions the solutions that you create together to Congress, and make sure that that person will come back to the district as I intend to, and I intend to have a robust um, staff in the district so that you have somebody to talk to. I will meet with you face to face when I can, when I'm in the district, and will always be available. So please consider our campaign. And if we're not the right ones for you, please do your research on the other candidates. Thank you.
Isabelle Harman, thank you so much for being on the program. And that's the end of the interview. Have a great
Great.
day.
Thanks, Cameron. Appreciate it.